July 3rd, 2013. As the sun sets over Cairo, hundreds of thousands of Egyptians celebrate in Tahrir or Liberation Square. It was game over for Mohamed Morsi.
The Chief Justice of the Supreme Constitutional Court will rule the country during the transitional period.
Mohamed
Morsi was an Islamist leader who had big dreams for Egypt.
As Egypt's first democratically elected Islamist president, Morsi also led the radical Muslim Brotherhood. But after just 1 year in office, Egyptians had had enough. Boulos Georgas joined the millions demanding he step down.
The Muslim Brotherhood believed Morsi was going to bring back the glory of Islam, purify Egypt of non-Muslims and turn it into an Islamic country.
That worried Boulos because he's part of the 10% or so of Egypt's population that is Christian.
Everyone knew we were also protesting against the Morsi government.
Samir Abashkeron, a prominent Egyptian Christian, believes Morsi's removal was nothing short of a miracle.
Christians felt like a heavy burden had been removed from our nation. We could never have imagined that such an outcome was possible, but we prayed and God answered.
But then came the Islamic threats.
We started hearing messages on television, in mosques and on the streets, people saying they were going to kill Christians for demonstrating against Morsi and the Brotherhood. They said our family, our children, our homes and businesses would be targets.
And it turned out Egyptian Christians had every reason to be concerned.
The streets were quiet that evening. I remember there weren't too many cars on the road, not a lot of people walking around.
Boulos' wife was at home the evening they got the call that changed their lives forever.
My friend was screaming on the phone, "Jesse has been shot. Jesse has been shot."
The day was August 6th, around 7:15 in the evening. Jesse had just walked out of church, having finished 9 days of a 10-day vacation Bible school. She had walked down this very street, came to this spot that I'm standing at, and one single shot to the heart ended her life.
جيسي كانت هي الطفلة الوحيدة بالنسبة لنا.
Jesse was our only little child.
وكانت بالنسبة لنا شخصية رائعة جدا.
She was a wonderful person.
She was only 10 years old.
When she turned 10, I could see our little girl slowly turning into a beautiful young lady. She was my daughter. She was my friend.
Though no one has claimed responsibility, Jesse's parents believe that she was killed because of her faith.
Because we supported Morsi's removal and the army's crackdown on the Brotherhood, radical Muslims are now like bombs, ready to explode against Christians.
That fury exploded days after Jesse's murder. On August 14th, hours after the army violently broke up 2 Brotherhood protest camps in Cairo, Morsi sympathizers launched revenge attacks against Christians. And when it was all over, they had destroyed more than 200 Christian-owned properties, some 43 churches seriously damaged. Shops, businesses, cars, and homes belonging to Christians were also targeted. Most of the attacks happened in central Egypt. It was the worst organized violence against Christians in 700 years. Dr. Sama Sadek, a Regent University grad and native of Egypt, says authorities did little to stop the attacks or to identify those responsible. Sadek is based in the US and travels frequently to Egypt. CBN News met him in Cairo while he ministered to pastors who had lost church buildings during the assault.
Most of the pastors affected are so poor, so the Lord helped us through our friends in America to meet some of their financial and physical needs. The pastors are grateful that people in the US stood beside them during their trials.
4 months after Morsi's removal, people here are worried about an Islamic-led insurgency against Christians and the new government. On October 21st, masked gunmen riding a motorcycle pulled up to a Christian wedding at a church in Cairo and killed 4 people, including an 8-year-old girl.
What is happening is targeting all of Egypt and not only the Christians. This is enough. People are getting sick and tired of this.
With the specter of Christian violence still rising, Boulos and his wife resolved to minister to their countrymen.
After Jesse's death, God gave us a bigger desire to pray for the terrorists and our country. Not just for Christians, but for Muslims too. Only God can open hearts and eyes to see truth and experience His love.